Hi, this is Ronald D. Moore, writer of Star Trek and Battlestar Galactica, and you are listening to Authenticity Radio with Slade-Suiter.
Hey, this is Demi Lovato. Amazing.
You're listening to Authenticity Radio.
Authenticity Radio with Slade-Suiter.
Baby, I'm not like the rest. Don't wanna break your heart. Wanna give your heart a break. I know you're scared it's wrong. Like you might make a mistake. There's just one life to live, and there's no time to waste. So let me give your heart a break. Give your heart a break. Let me give your heart a break. Your heart a break.
And now, your host, who has the hospitality of a fat and jolly innkeeper, Slade-Suiter.
These country roads take me home to the place I belong.
And welcome to you. And thank you for joining us today. This is Slade-Suiter.
Take me home, country roads.
The world of partisan politics. You know, it's my group, it's my party. I don't reach across the aisle, nor do I cooperate with the others. After all, it's my party. Could you imagine what would happen if we were to find an individual very well versed in the art of conflict resolution and invite them to represent us politically? And I am a bearer of good news for you today. You don't have to imagine, because today's guest made this a reality. Senator Linda Newell from Colorado joins us today. Senator Linda Newell, welcome to Authenticity Radio.
Oh, thank you so much, Slade. I'm so excited to be here, actually.
It is so nice to have you here finally. We've been playing phone tag for so long.
Yes, too long.
And today we make this interview a reality. And Senator Linda Newell, could you start by sharing with our listeners your background in conflict resolution?
Yes, I can. I grew up in California, in Southern California, in a home of peacemakers. My parents taught us from very early on that I'd like to use a phrase that our local conflict center uses, which is conflict is inevitable, but violence is not. Mm-hmm. And we were taught peacemaking very early on through our family and in our home. And then as I got older, went into did some work with Beyond War, which was an organization at that time in California, looking for how to get rid of the militarization, I should say, of our planet, and looking at what can we do more peacefully. And then when I moved to Colorado, I got involved with the Conflict Center here in Denver, which is known in the U.S. as one of the leading centers for resolving and preventing conflict in the schools. So I got involved with them and quickly became a trainer and facilitator with them in anger management and conflict management. And as my career in human resources continued, I went into adult learning in the workplace and taught anger management, conflict management there, empathy, respect, communication classes. I used to call that ERC, and then classes about empathy and how we need to acknowledge people's red wagons, as I call them. And then I ended up working with both teens and adults with conflict coaching. So that's my background.
So you have a lot of experience and training in this field.
Mm-hmm.
So communication, empathy, and respect. I just love this. We need so much more.
Yes, we do. Which is why I'm so passionate about it.
Yes, and it really shows. And matter of fact, Senator Linda, you connected me to the Conflict Center, and now I'm in communication with these wonderful people.
Oh, good.
So taking into consideration all of this training and experience you have, how has this impacted your life as United States State Senator of Colorado?
Oh, gosh. Well, it is absolutely every day, I will say, when I walk into the chamber, I walk in believing that I am an instrument of peace, no matter what is around me. And I'm hoping that I can serve as that for our chamber and our whole legislature, as a person living and acting in peace. And the results of that show up in, I believe, better policy, better bipartisan results. I have used a very long stakeholder process throughout my putting together my bills, and have really focused on making sure every voice is at the table and every voice is heard. And whether we get to compromise or negotiation, or sometimes we just get to a place of we're going to need to disagree on this, at least we are doing it respectfully and with empathy, and making sure that we're understanding each point of view. And then I have been known as the champion for conflict resolution here at the Capitol, because we started back in 2009 in the legislature. I brought forward Conflict Resolution Month, and most internationally, as you probably already know, Conflict Resolution Day is an international day, but in Colorado, we created Conflict Resolution Month, so that we have the whole month to really look at what are tools that we can use in our homes, churches, communities, workplaces, and have hopefully those facilitators and workshop facilitators who can teach those tools to people out in the communities. And then lastly, I've been a sponsor of many both bills as well as amendments to bills in mediation and restorative justice. I serve also on the Office of Dispute Resolution Advisory Council. So in the Senate, I would absolutely say that it has served me well, but I'm hoping my fellow caucus members, caucus members, I have served as a mentor or conflict coach. Sometimes people will pull me aside and ask me for advice. I've also done some teaching of my senators in conflict management, in conflict styles. And then I would say ultimately that because of the conflict resolution tools I've been able to use, that my blessing with that is that I've had 97% of my bills be bipartisan.
Jiminy Christmas.
And
hold on. One moment. Right there. That is incredible. That's a miracle.
Well, I'm very proud of that, because I do believe you get to better policy and you get to better relationships. I mean, as we know, as people in conflict resolution, it's all about solving the problem and building the relationship. And I believe you can do both.
Without the tug of war.
Exactly.
Yeah, it seems like the taxpayer is the one who ends up paying the biggest price with all the political jockeying going on.
Yeah.
So tell me more about this restorative justice.
Yes. Well, we've done a couple of bills on restorative justice, and the reason why I'm such a fan of the restorative justice practices is that it really does bring every voice to the table. So what that means is that you have a person who has committed a crime, and so the offender, and then you have the victim. And oftentimes with our system in the U.S. is you go to trial, it's very adversarial, and you may never see, the offender may never see the victim again except for in the courtroom. Well, with restorative justice, instead of the person going, or in addition to the person going, it could be depending on the case, to prison, then what you do is you have these what's called a restorative justice circle. You bring in victim offender conferences or conversations, and so you have this circle of the victim is there, the offender is there, the potentially family members, community members, other people who were affected by the crime, and you bring them all together, and they are facilitated in this process where the offender hears directly from the victim the impact of the crime that they committed, and then the offender gets to make restitution, whatever that could mean. That could mean service, it could mean apology, it could mean lots of different things, a fine maybe, and they get to make that restitution right there with the victim. And then same with repairing the harm of the community. Oftentimes you'll have these crimes happen by teens, let's say, and teens in particular are very receptive to restorative justice. So let's say Colorado, we currently have normal recidivism rate here is between 50 and 53% of the people. That means over 50% of the time they're reoffending. With restorative justice, and especially with teens, that recidivism rate drops significantly. In fact, it's been as low as 11%.
Wow.
So it really shows the offender, hey, here's what your impact was, here's how you're going to make a difference with this particular victim, and here's a way not to ever do it again. So that's why I'm a huge fan of that, because it truly is going way beyond just the courtroom, and it is repairing the harm to the victim as much as possible, and then to the community as well.
Yeah, it seems to be a real way to, when there is a crime, to bring the humanity factor back into it, especially for the victim. I was also thinking what a wonderful way to allow the healing process of a crime committed, especially for the victim, to begin to begin the process of healing.
Yes, absolutely. And that's exactly what happens. There's so much healing on both sides that happens, and then also on the community side. Now, it's not appropriate for every crime, of course, because you don't want to re-traumatize the victim, but it is certainly one of the I believe, one of the best options out there, because you are both solving the problem as well as building the relationship.
So what about mediation? What did you sponsor there?
So with mediation, I look for places in different bills that instead of going to court, or in addition to going to court, you have an option of mediation, so that you're keeping people out of the court systems as much as possible, because, of course, as we know, that's a harrowing experience to go through, both emotionally but also financially, energy-wise, time-wise. So what I do with mediation is look for those opportunities in other bills to put mediation in there so that they're getting that option. In some bills, I've been able to get it in there to, be an option beforehand, or being an option during. So it just depends on the particular bill.
Do you sleep well at night, Linda?
Most of the time I do, actually. Peacefully, I should say.
I'd imagine after a day of yours, you'd be out as soon as you hit the pillow.
Yeah, that's true too. Very true.
Jiminy Christmas, Senator Linda. I could just imagine the life of a senator if you are going to perform all the roles that are expected of you. I mean, that's harrowing in itself. And then you take on top of that your professional life and your private life, a life as a mother, which I believe to be one of the most valuable and difficult jobs in the world.
Very true.
How do you balance all of this?
Well, I'm not sure if you believe in the yin and yang of life, so to speak, but I do. I am a big proponent of recognizing what is, what's up front and center, dealing with that, being as present as possible in the moment, and not carrying that home with me as much as possible. Now, do I? Absolutely. I'm human. But what I try to do is make sure that I am separating from my personal life to my professional life, to my Senate life. And there are times when I can't do that. There are times when it has been difficult. But for me, the inner peace is knowing that if I am living in the present, in the moment, then I am able to create. I am able to be in positive mode, so to speak. If I get outside of myself and am looking outside of the present, then I'm either worrying or I'm judging. And that's not helping anyone, and particularly me. So I would probably say that that's my the biggest effort that I make is to be able to shut that off. Now, the other thing that I will say is it really helps me stay in the present are my two daughters, you know, being with them. And last night, perfect example. I mean, I had 4 bills up in one day a couple of days ago, and it was a stressful week. But last night we sat down at the dinner table and we just hung out and laughed. And I just, even though I had so much to do, I stayed in the moment and I was present. And that is how I keep that balance of inner peace.
Yeah, I can see that. A healthy sense of humor can be so helpful in striking balance again.
It very, very helpful. The other thing, too, is meditation. I do meditate, and that is very helpful as well. I sing. I'm a singer, so that helps me express as well, so that I don't hold the stresses in my body.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you're stressed now, you can sing for us.
That's good, Slade. Is it your birthday? I'll sing happy birthday.
Yeah, no, it's not today. But I'll take a rain check.
Or let there be peace on earth.
Everyone needs to hear this song. So meditation and singing are natural outlets for you, or better yet, even ways to reground yourself.
Yes, that's a great way to put it.
Okay. What about people? Do you have a support group or people that hold your space, that understand you in your life?
Yes, I do. Probably not when I'm in session. I am not able to be with them as often, so it is harder in session. But definitely, yeah, have those people who are what I call our tree trunks, the ones who we can hold on to and serve as our foundation. Yeah.
Now, Senator Linda, Colorado's gone through a real rough period recently. You had the wildfires and the floods, and also a string of mass violence, the school shootings I was thinking about. Can you talk about that? And also, do you find that legislation is more open to conflict resolution than before?
Well, first of all, I will say that I live exactly in the middle between Columbine High School, Arapahoe High School, where we've had school shootings, and then the Aurora Theater. I'm exactly in the middle of those. And it has been extraordinarily difficult to keep a peaceful mind when your heart is hurting so much, and our community is just so tired of hurting. So I will say that is definitely true. And one of the things that's come out of that is that we have had more constituents come to us about prevention of violence. And so we've definitely seen that, at least in my area. I can't say in other people's districts, but in my district, because we've been so closely impacted. The other is that when you do experience something like the wildfires or the floods that we have recently experienced as well, it changes you. And it changes you personally, as a community, and it brings about much more love and empathy and support to each other. So I absolutely believe that out of those real unfortunate circumstances, and we're still healing, it will take us years from that, we have definitely seen that. And we've seen the Colorado communities coming together. So I would say yes. In fact, just since 2009, when I came into office and we started with the conflict resolution month that I was describing to you, I also every summer through the conflict resolution month folks, we put together resources that we give to my fellow legislators. We give a book every year that is about somehow related to either peace or conflict resolution. We have speakers at town halls. We go out and I meet with my individual cities and their city councils. I have seen a shift. And at the Capitol, I've definitely seen a shift with people now looking at that. And they're paying more attention to even the phrase conflict resolution or restorative justice, for instance. So, yes, I've definitely seen a shift, and it's really exciting to see.
Wow, I could just only imagine how much you suffered, along with everyone else who is suffering. When humanity's faced with such a senseless act of violence, it has a way of kicking us directly through the goal. What are those things called? The
Goalpost?
Yeah, I've been away for too long. The goalpost of awareness. And we become aware of how fleeting, how precious, and how valuable life is. And so we, as a community, are in the process of finding what is essential and what is important. You know, I was thinking about you in your job as a lawmaker. What an honorable position you are in to speak for the people with the heart that you have.
Thank you. Yeah, it is. It's one of the most, well, absolutely the most difficult job I've ever had, but it is also the most honorable and the most, to me, it's reverent. I mean, it is, it's truly, I mean, just imagine how it feels to vote and represent people, and then to create legislation and influence and to positively affect people's lives. I mean, it is quite an honor, and I take it very seriously. But I also, to add to that, I also do what I can to bring humor into the chamber or into our office. We do get stressed out. There's not doubt there, but we also like to have fun. And in some heated, conversations, sometimes the best way to diffuse is through appropriate humor. So Yes, it is. It's both.
Wow. The ability to laugh is such a nice way to ground ourselves.
Yes, exactly. Mm-hmm.
Senator Newell, I am so very curious to find out what your message to humanity is. So what is your message that you would like to deliver to humanity?
For me, it is imagining and visualizing our lives, our communities, our world peaceful, and that we are at choice of that. That even though I'm in Colorado, you're in Barcelona, we as a humanity have a choice. Right now in this conversation, tonight when we go home, when I come in to the chamber, or when I go into a workplace, when I walk into the grocery store, it is not every week when I'm at church, it's not every day, but it's every hour and every minute that we're in choice to either be a part of the solution or part of the problem, to be living in love or living in fear, and living in hate or living in peace. I mean, we are in those minute little choices that are happening every minute, and at any point in time, we can change that trajectory, either of a conversation or a relationship or the rest of our lives. So I would say that if listeners who are listening to your kind of program are probably the peacemakers of the world, then we need to remember that our choices in our own lives and how we respond to the world around us, that is what is going to create a world of peace. It's not the big, but it's the small that leads us there.
The small that leads us there. We always have a choice. Senator Newell, thank you so much for joining us on Authenticity Radio today.
Oh, I'm so excited to be here. And by the way, love your name, Authenticity Radio. I have a commitment to be authentic every day, and I love it, love it.
Will you honor us as well to join us in the future again?
I would love to. Sure.
That would be great. And I want to wish you, Senator Newell, not only as a lawmaker, but as a mouthpiece of the people and for the people, that conflict resolution will become part of the political life of the future.
Thank you so much, Slade, and thank you for making sure that you are creating a vehicle for peace and for people to be able to tune into that. That's a miracle in itself that this is already happening out there. So thank you for doing that.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm making those small choices that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Wow. Senator Linda Newell. This is Slade-Suiter. Until next time, be authentic, be true, make those small choices that count, and be free.
Rocky Mountain High, Colorado. Rocky Mountain High, Colorado. He climbed to see the mountain.
Slade-Suiter Live.
There was an idea to bring together a group of remarkable people.
Who are these people?
Authenticity Radio. Stimulating and transparent. Real people and real authentic talk.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to get real.
What are you prepared to do?
Guys, I'm bringing the party to you.
Slade-Suiter Live.